Welcome, my beautiful souls, to another edition of the Soul Surgery Oracle Collective reading for this week. So, we're going to go straight in. We're going to hit off with a purpose card. So, we're going to be looking at what we should be focused on, or what the ultimate thing we should be focused on this week. And then we should be looking at what we're learning this week, what's going on currently, like literally within your life, opportunities and stuff like that. And then we've got the Yogic Path deck, which is showing us our action for this week, my beautiful souls. So, with no further ado, hope all is well in your part of the world. From we have life, we can make change. I know life is trying and testing at this particular time for a number of different reasons. But again, because we have life, we can make change, my beautiful souls. So let's see the focus. We have, interesting. There we go. So y'all can get a real good look on it. The King of Cups. If I draw it closer, you can see the god on this card is actually Peter, the Kemetic god of, you could call them the architect of the universe. They were seen as a solar force, a creative god. So they represented over number 3 on the tree of life, which you might know as the Kabbalah, and it was ruled by the god Seker. But Seker and and Peter are more or less the same principles. It is the realm of your energy, your life force, the realm of your physical blueprint, your life's blueprint, what we would call our fate, our destiny, my beautiful souls. So the life you're living now is a result of your karmic deeds, right? The actions that you took in previous lives, which have now sparked your incarnation into this life, right? So the whole purpose of life is for us to ascend to our higher selves and to be the fullness of what we are, divine in flesh, my beautiful souls. So that principle of karmic weighing of the hearts would be number 2 on the tree of life to Hudi, the god of wisdom, right? So whatever is decided is materialized or set into an archetype. So this would be the matrix. This is the matrix of your mineral world, the vegetable world, the animal world. This is the matrix of the life force before it starts to go through a process of densification, my beautiful souls, to enable all the number of different species and things in this world. So this is spiritual power, my beautiful souls, but it's coming under the King of Cups, right? So the energy normally of the King of Cups is associated to Scorpio, a scorpionic kind of energy. Is called that the chariot of the waters. So it's like about creativity. It's about an intensity of purpose. It's a drive, something motivating you internally has switched on. There's like your life force is switched on. There's something you desire with that scorpionic energy, something that's pulling your attention or drawing your focus. So this is what I feel is the ultimate message, my beautiful souls. You can see with these symbols, yeah, we've got the crook, the flower, and the uras, the life force, my beautiful soul. So these crook and the flower is meaning that there's something that we have to do, something creative, some sort of destiny or purpose, some sort of endeavor that we're supposed to be focusing on, and it has the ability to draw quite a big audience, right? But it's going to take certain discipline and focus and structure and planning in order to achieve this creative endeavor or this project that you're working on, or simply you evolving into a higher version of yourself, or literally you, what's the word? You stepping into your purpose, because this energy of Peter is still associated to Saturn. So if you look in Saturn, ruler of the 10th house in one aspect, right, is your career, your purpose, your legacy. What legacy are you going to leave on this earth? How do you want to be known? How do you want to spend your energies? But Capricorn and Saturn energy requires discipline, right? So the King of Cups in this essence, in this deck, is very supportive on the creative task, the desire that you have. Your desire is your soul calling or pulling its purpose back into existence or into your mind's view, so you can actually see, oh, so this is what I like doing, this is what I want to be doing. And you're expected to act of almost like an impulse, but this would be like a solar intuitive impulse as opposed to an emotional programming or need impulse based on fear. This would be based on a realization, because it's coming in the purpose section, my beautiful souls. So the purpose for this week is to become the creator. That's what Peter represents. Is the creator God. What are you creating? What are you co-creating in this lifetime? Because that's what we are. We co-create with the universe. It means we have to respect the cycles. That we need a plan. We need to be in tune. We need to be harmonized, my beautiful souls. But first and foremost, your passion, right? Your focus, your idea, your calling, however it presents to you, is what needs to be understood, acknowledged, accepted. That is the focus, my beautiful souls. And it's quite fitting, like I said, it is associated to Scorpio. So we are in the Scorpionic season, and Scorpio represents that the depths of transformation, you know, taboo, sexuality, finances, the finances that you receive, you know, can be creative energy as well. So this is the perfect time for us to basically dig deep, my beautiful souls. So let's look at what we're learning in this current time, my beautiful souls. The Ace of Cups. This is kind of haunting us. I think this came up before. So this is what we're learning. The Ace of Cups is now bringing us back to number one, the eternal oneness within us, the one intelligence that's all knowing, all powerful, right? Back to the fertility of the universe, to be able to create. If we are here with the Scorpionic energy, with the King of Cups, the purpose is to be a creator. This is like the pot, this is the potter, and this is the clay. The Ace of Cups becomes the clay. You understanding that your views and thoughts of yourself, if you sit in your personality, then you accept failure, you accept limitations, right? Where if you tap in back into the essence of what you are, your essential self, right, my beautiful souls, then you realize that, oh, my thoughts, my consciousness, my will is the actual creative force that I have. So my imagination becomes the shaper of this life force energy to manifest my destiny. So this is restoring your imagination, your belief. We're learning to believe in ourselves, learning to detach from our emotional programming, right? Of which is based on fear and limitation, your ego trying to prevent you from seeing the fullness of what you are, because the fullness of what you are threatens the security or the stability or the comfort of where you are, my beautiful souls. So that's the essence in the of what we're learning in the Ace of Cups, is understanding that the universe is abundant, the universe is alive, you are connected to nature, you are connected to the universe, your made of cosmic dust. But the real creative force is your thoughts, is your mind, is your consciousness, my beautiful souls, not the loins and the children that you birth. That's another form of creativity. But another form of self-replication is the projects, your legacy, the skill set that you have or you was incarnated with, and making use of those skills and those talents and those abilities, my beautiful souls, which again comes from you seeing the fullness of what you are, so that you can see the opportunities that lie ahead of you instead of feeling trapped or focused on a problem or inhibited by fear or cultural beliefs or religious beliefs or whatever it is that might be taboo about what you want to do, or you're breaking the mold, so you're persecuted, your family's looking at you like different, or your friends, you might have to pull away from your friends because your dreams, they have a limited fatalistic way of thinking, my beautiful soul. So the Ace of Cups is coming to restore nourishment to parched and dry and barren, infertile lands, my beautiful souls. That's the true essence of what we're learning, is understanding the fullness of ourselves. What we associate with is what we become. So it's asking you, what is your God? Is your God limitation? my beautiful souls, is your God money? Because when you try to achieve a project, if you start with the fact that you don't have the money, then you've already killed the plan. Do you understand? So it's understanding the ability, your nature to manipulate energy. And in this essence, you're going to do that with your imagination. But your imagination, as a creative tool, a shaping tool of life forces, needs to be open. It needs to be free flowing. Let the tap flow. There is a fertility, there's an abundance, there's an infiniteness. So you exist for a reason, my beautiful souls, right? So don't shy away from being the unique individual that you are. That's the true essence. So let's see what's going on currently. We got 3 cards, my beautiful souls. We want to do them 1, 2, 3, one by one. Let's see what's going on. All right, so this is balance in judgment. So for some of y'all, this is saying that, as you can see the goddess here, Ma'at, right? And we've got Tahuti, right? So for some of y'all right now, you just need to find a balance in your routine, in your life, just the way you're living. You need to find some sort of harmony, right? To regulate. It's almost like the temperance energy. There's 2 sides to your nature. This could be the survival side, what you need to do to survive, right? And it could be also like your dream, right? Or it could just literally be soul versus personality, right? There needs to be a harmonizing kind of dynamic going on in your life. That's what it's requiring for some of y'all. This is about receiving some form of justice in the here and now, because it says balance in judgment. So Ma'at is the law, the truth. So as long as you're living by truth and in alignment, right, and you're not attacking all of the problems that you're facing or seeing adversities everywhere in the world, right, you're maintaining your level or your composure, your focus, right? This is that the justice card is here to deliver, based on truth and harmony, some sort of relief, my beautiful souls. And I can kind of see that with this card here, the victory card, the 6 of Wands, right? The 6 of Wands is normally associated with success, with achievement. So it's normally ruled by, if we look at the number 6 itself, sits at number 6 on the tree of life, and that's Haru, your will. But it's also the warrior nature in you to fight against the emotional tyranny. So you're not actually believing in the limitations. Or Haru wants to take back the throne of his father, which is the ace, right? Number 1, my beautiful souls, right? That fertile abundantness with the whole, with everything. So you are the universe, you are it, you can create with it, right? That's the number 6. So, but it has to fight against the tyranny of how it's been programmed, the fears, the limitation, the culture, beliefs, everything that's acting as a limitation of expressing its energy. So this energy normally represents Jupiter inside, which is expansion, expanding and growing, whether that is in experience and travel or with study, right? Inside Leo. And Leo is about confidence and standing in your, well, how can I put it? Like you being who you are, your most authentic self, right? So unapologetically, that's what the lion does. It steps out into the world and says, this is me, look at who I am. So this is the real, I suppose, test right now for some of y'all. Is there are a few shadowy forces. There might be some issues in your life, some challenges, but the question is, are you going to allow the challenge to make you become something that you're not, and then lose sight of what you are and what your purpose is and your destiny? Or are you going to stay true, right? With the adversity that's around you, it kind of should force you into your uniqueness, as opposed to force you out of that uniqueness and trying to fit in or see these things as aspects that can prevent you from becoming what you are, because the external world doesn't have that power once you take that power back, once you're realigned back to your essential self. So no limitations in the way that you're thinking, the dreams that you're having. Don't base everything based on your current financial status, my beautiful souls. That's not how the universe works. Then right now there is healing. So for y'all, some of y'all you might have suffered at the hands of other people. right? And this is where the justice card is coming in. It's saying that by there being justice, a balancing out, it's almost like you can kind of work on your healing process, right? This is what this is. Jupiter inside Libra represents healing of rifts, not necessarily making um healing past relationships that have broken, but disconnecting the ego part, my beautiful soul. So this is like I've suffered a wound, right? And you thinking that you can't heal, but you can heal. The way you heal the wound, whether the wound has closed or not, is by disconnecting your ego, right? Realigning your ego, sorry, I should say, to be more correct. So stop associating with your fears and your feelings, your emotional programming, right? That tells you that you are a victim or you suffered, right? And that's what you are, right? This is how we heal, is by disconnecting that, changing that identity, using our same imaginative powers, not just for our goals and our dreams, but to envision ourselves in our higher selves. So instead of us seeing ourselves as victims, we now see ourselves as conquerors, as warriors, as achievers. Do you know what I'm saying, my beautiful souls? That's what the Six of Wands represents with this energy. Do you understand? This is what real success represents, is being able to expand. But if we're staying in the wound, then we're not expanding. So this is why Jupiter now is presenting itself in the aspect of Libra, right? So this again is a healing. So whatever's gone on in yourself, allow this healing to come through by learning more of whom you are, what you are, and disconnecting the ego, right? So the ego cannot be bruised. But own ego can only be bruised if we associate ourselves to our feelings, right? What would happen if you don't listen to your feelings? Like, this person's done this and then you want to do that. But what would happen if you didn't respond in that way, my beautiful souls? Would you die? No. You live on, right? So it's like breaking these refluxes or emotional refluxes, emotional impulses to certain stimuluses. It's also stop reliving trauma through your imaginative faculty, right? Meaning your imagination is polluted, right, with the trauma of your past. And that trauma of your past has now limited you from seeing the success and opportunities that lie ahead of you, my beautiful souls. So that's all what's going on for currently. But in a nutshell, so let's put this up there. In a nutshell, this is about harmonizing, balancing your life. If the wheel has been on the down, it's starting to switch and change. It's almost like the Wheel of Fortune energy, right? But again, there is some sort of inner work that we have to do. There is taking back control. That's what it is. It feels like we are putting up our sails and sailing where we want, instead of just riding the ocean or the wave. We now have the ability to sail our boats or our ship in the direction that we want to, but the waters will still be slightly choppy. But now we've become master sailors because we've been on the choppy, but now we've got sails, we know, and it means we've got direction and we've got focus, my beautiful souls. So what action are we looking at? Let's do these again one by one. So we're using the Yogic Path to get the action, and we've got Santosha. So y'all can see this, I think, refers to contentment, my beautiful souls. Contentment. So this is saying that, do you know what? No, I'm going to read you a bit of this from the book, my beautiful souls, because it's asking for the action. I'm going to read it so you can get an idea. Social media can take a yogi off their path towards santosha, contentment, through its kryptonite comparison. When we compare ourselves to others, we lose our freedom. We judge our self-worth on whether or not we are embodying someone else's dharma, which was never meant for us. You were born with the exact gifts, the desires and abilities you were meant to share with the world. Your curiosities are the seeds planted inside you that will take you towards your highest self. It's time to adapt a mindset of contentment with who you are so that you can create what it is you are and only you are meant to create. So, two factors with this card. right? One factor is give yourself a clap on the back, my beautiful souls, right? Because you have reached to the point where you've reached. You've achieved something, you've leveled up. And we are constantly striving that we don't take time to give thanks or to acknowledge how far we've already come so that we can realign with where we're going, right? And to see our potential when we're so that when if you can acknowledge where you've come and what you've put in already, that should help to empower you on your journey, right? To help to boost your self-esteem. So there is an issue that society is social constructs, right, which we have lived by, is telling you that your success is supposed to come at a certain time, certain age, look a certain way, blah blah blah. You're supposed to have such and such a riches. And this is what the Santosha is saying, is that we need to acknowledge how far we've come so that we don't get lost in the social media, in the social constructs, the social expectations of whom and what we're supposed to have. So we're associating indirectly, right? We're associating indirectly with our ego, our programming, right? And it's acting as a tool that's kind of preventing us from seeing that we have the tools, we have the skills. All we need to do is kind of allow ourselves to be those unique, weird individuals, because that's what a collective is. It's made up of individuals, and individuals, indivisible duality, something that cannot be separated, but is part of something else, my beautiful soul. So it's not that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few anymore. It's the needs of the few needs to be acknowledged. This is real unity and diversity, not equality, my beautiful soul. So this is asking you to acknowledge who you are authentically, right? To be curious, to shape the gifts that you have, because that's what your purpose is. Your very existence is the validation that the world or the universe needs you to play your part. Yeah, but you can't play your part if you're acting like a clone or if you're running away from your destiny, my beautiful souls. So that's that Santosha, contentment. And then we've got Ojas. I like this Ojas because it represents the energy of, you could say it's the earth energy, right? But it actually represents the energy of, for some of y'all, people are saying that you look different, you're glowing different, you're flowing different, you feel more at ease, more at peace. So this is the acknowledgement of the Santosha, saying that keep doing what you're doing. The routine that you're in is working for you. It's people are seeing that glow because it's a reflection of the work you're currently putting in, right? So there is a need right now for us to focus on our health, our well-being. We cannot achieve none of this, my beautiful souls. None of this can be achieved. None of these dreams and these ideas, right, can be acted upon, right, if we ourselves are not healthy. We cannot heal no one, help no one if we ourselves are not healed ourselves or acting or healthy. So this is about eating well, my beautiful souls. This is about eating in the right time, eating, don't be eating late, right? This is looking at the life force energy, which is this energy which matches the energy of the sun, right? So there's a certain period to eat, there's a certain period for digestion, there's a certain period for sleep. All of these need to be respected, and that's the natural laws of the life force energies, my beautiful souls. That is what's required right now, right? There's a replenishment of the energy, right? There is we need to make sure we're getting about 8 hours sleep. The food that we're intaking, we need to be very conscious of what we're eating, right? Does it feed and sustain, or does it make your life force sluggish? Like, are you putting in toxins into your body? We need to remove that, because the ace of the judgment card that came out here, the balance of judgment card, is the justice card. It actually represents a balancing, right? This Mata energy represents a balancing, a cleansing of the energy. For some people, this would be going on to a vegan diet. This is literally, or an ITIL diet. I'm not the one to tell you. It's just in the dynamics of the tree of life, she represents number 4. So there cannot be no violation. Everything needs to be in harmony. So eating flesh would be a form of violation to the cycle. So that's just another side message. So again, it is clean up your diet to the best of your abilities, whatever your diet may be. Try to remove, like I said, anything that is not remove excess, right? Remove the toxins where they sit. And then you have a clean life force, my beautiful souls. This is almost like the energy of Geb, number 10 on the tree of life. So again, by having a clean life force, the life force is symbolic of your physical form, and also your strength, your power to achieve, because your will is just the intention. It needs power, energy in order to achieve it. For you to sustain, have structure and balance and harmony, you need the energy to enforce and to fight against the tyranny of your fears and your doubts. So you can see it's a full circle, my beautiful souls. So I hope that message resonated. Let me know in the comments, my beautiful souls. Obviously, like and subscribe and all that goodness. You can catch me on TikTok, House of New, HOUS.OF.NU. And I'm live every Wednesday and Thursday on the TikTok at 12 p.m. GMT time, my beautiful souls. So until we link up next week, or if I catch you live, Hetep Pu, which means peace to you. Love, peace, and power, my beautiful souls.